Adjunct Professor Moran, Microeconomics 112. We're going to review some concepts with a worksheet concerning monopoly. In this one, we're going to compare pure competition, price, quantity, output, in addition to consumer producer surplus, and compare that to monopoly. Okay, so let's assume this is a purely competitive firm. Notice there's no difference between demand, price, and marginal revenue. And we're going to profit maximize, loss min, or shut down by setting all of these equal to marginal cost. So this firm is going to produce 6 units of output at $6. Calculate the consumer surplus. Well, the consumer surplus is bounded by the demand curve and above the price line. So it's an area of a rectangle. It's 1/2 base times height. So the base is 6 and the height is 12 minus 6. One-half base times height. So that's 6 times 6 is 36, divided by 2 is 18. 6 times 6, 36, 18. Right. What's the producer surplus? Okay, we have 6 minus 0 times 6 units over 2. 6 minus 0 on 6 units. That is also 18. The consumer surplus is this area, and the producer surplus is this area. There are some consumers who value the product more than the equilibrium price, but they're not required to pay more because they can buy at the equilibrium price. There are some producers who are more efficient and were willing and able to sell at the lower price, but they don't have to because in a purely competitive market they can sell as much as they want at the equilibrium price. Now let's see what happens to our price quantity combinations and our surpluses when we compare that to a monopolistic industry. What quantity of output will be produced? Well, now, because a monopolist who is not price discriminating, who has to sell to everyone at the market price, he can move up and down the demand curve to find the best price quantity combination. Now, this is one of the fallacies of monopolists. People think that monopolists charge the highest price possible, and that's not true. The goal isn't to maximize the price. The goal is to maximize profit. And as we shown before, profit maximization, loss min, or shutdown happens where you find marginal revenue equals marginal cost and then take that price. So they're not trying to take the highest price possible. Neither are they trying to find average total cost minimum. You can see the average total cost minimum happens over here. They're trying to find this marginal revenue, marginal cost, which will maximize their profit. Okay. So, because to sell more, he's got to lower his price, not just on the last one sold, but on all the prior ones. There's a split between his marginal revenue and his price, which still equals demand. So marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Go down to find the quantity, go up to find the price. Go over. This now, instead of producing 6, the monopolist, as a purely competitive industry would, the monopolist will only produce 4. And instead of selling at 6, the monopolist is selling at a price of 8. And that's because we're using marginal cost equals marginal revenue, not price equals marginal cost, which happens over here at 6 and 6. Calculate the consumer surplus. Okay, well now the consumer surplus is 12 minus 8 on 4 units. On 4 units divided by 2, and that's 4 times 4, which is 16, divided by 2 is 8. The consumer surplus is now 8, and look how much it's decreased in size. Now, what's the producer surplus? Well, that's interesting. To do the producer surplus, we need 2 geometric shapes. We need this one, this rectangle, and this triangle. So now what we've got is the rectangle is 8 minus 4 and 4. So that's 16. And the triangle is 4 minus 0 on 4 units divided by 2, which is 16 divided by 2 is 8, 24. So this is the producer surplus. So the conclusion is that compared to pure competition, a monopolist, the consumer surplus will go down, the producer surplus will rise, price will be higher, and quantity produced will go down. And this is not good for economic efficiency. Just to review, there could be a question on a test like this. Let's just do a standard monopolist. A monopolist will produce where marginal cost equals marginal revenue, go down. Quantity monopolist, go up. Price monopolist. Monopolist, marginal revenue equals marginal cost. But a pure competitor has the identity where price equals marginal revenue equals average revenue equals demand. But because of this split, because of the discounting necessary to sell more units along a negatively sloped demand curve, where the prior units have to be discounted also, this equality no longer holds. So a pure competitor is considered to be where price equals marginal cost, not marginal revenue. And if you were going to graph that on a monopolist curve, you would do the price equals demand curve and find marginal cost. Notice that the pure competitor's price is lower and the pure competitor's quantity is higher. And that's a very good graph to be aware of if you're studying the difference between pure competition monopoly and why pure competition is preferable. So that would be a great question on the next test. So you want to review that. And that's what we did in this handout. Next we're going to explore regulating monopoly, price quantity combinations in a handout.